So you've launched your second act with a decision or action on the part of your main character. Now what do? The second act can feel like a long wilderness you have to hack your way through. That's why so often you hear writers say, "My second act is killing me." It's where you're playing out the story with obstacles, complications, setbacks, and steadily increasing tension. But it can be a long, hard slog to get through it. You can find yourself longing for more structural points to guide you. Well, I have good news. There is one structural point that will help you, and that's the midpoint. The midpoint's function is to tip the balance of your story from the beginning to the end. You can use the midpoint in many different ways. You want to think in terms of the first half of the second act and the second half of the second act, and the midpoint is what makes that distinction. You can view it as the first culmination of the second act. An attempt has been made to solve the problem that was created by the point of attack that has either partially succeeded or completely failed. So the character has to regroup and try again. But the simplest way I like to think of the midpoint is as an external event that changes everything. The story is no longer revving up, the balance is tipped, and we're on our way to the conclusion. This creates a different governing principle from the first half to the second half. I have a different way of talking about the second act in a character-driven film, which I will elaborate on in a future series of videos on character-driven structure. So the function of the second act's midpoint is to have a nearly cataclysmic external event come in that changes everything and shifts the balance of the story from beginning to end. Then you keep building tension until you get to the second culmination of the second act, which is also called the end of the second act. And I'll talk about how that point functions in my next video talking about the third act. I know this is a lot to take in, so the next step is to see some concrete examples. You can begin with my screen books analyzing Thelma and Louise, Kramer versus Kramer, and The African Queen, which are all very good basic three-act structures to start with. Then you can move on to my recorded lectures on more challenging films like Parasite, Joker, and Jojo Rabbit. I also do live analyses and monthly webinars, so you want to subscribe on my website to be notified about those. If the next video in this series has already been posted, you can access it here. If not, you'll want to subscribe, so you'll be notified when it is.